Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
I'm Chris Ferzoco. This video is going to be discussing the third quarter of 2025 versus the second quarter of 2025. And what we like to talk about in these videos is we're going to look at the actual value of property. We're going to look at the number of properties that sold, meaning closed, right? Not ones that came on the market or came from under contract. They were already under contract. These are the ones that actually went to settlement.
All right.
We're going to look at the number of properties that actually came up for sale, new actives. We're going to look at the sale price to list price, and we are going to discuss the days on market as well, Joe.
Fantastic. And of course, folks, if you like what you see, like what you're hearing down, for Chris and I have to offer here when it comes to your market stats, or really anything that we talk about when we're jumping here on a video, please make sure you subscribe below, tap that bell for instant notifications, and of course, please hit the like button so you'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information and happenings down here at the Jersey Shore. And that's right, folks, it's our Jersey Shore. So, Chris, all right, we want to talk about third quarter and second quarter. Why don't you get us going here?
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at Ocean City, we're going to talk about the overall values there. And Ocean City actually had a 9.5% increase from the second quarter to the third quarter. It went from 1.35 up to 1.48. So a nice jump there, just about 10%. When you look at the number of properties that actually sold, we actually had a decrease of about 25.5%. Joe, we went from 204 down to 152 and the number of properties that sold. Now remember, these are the ones already under contract. Those are the summer months that come into play there. So it could have just been less transactions. Yep. We'll follow that. But again, still a 25% decrease. Number of properties that came on the market, we actually had a 3.8% increase. So we went from 347 to 360 properties that came on the market. And the overall sale price to list price is actually sitting right around 96%. Was the same for both quarters, right? Days on market was virtually the same, sitting right around 50 days in both quarters. So not a whole lot of changes in those two areas, but where it was significant was actually seeing that 10% jump in the value, and then you actually had that 25% decrease in the number of properties that actually sold.
Okay.
For Seattle City, looking at the third quarter, you actually had a 25% increase in value. You went from $1,165,000 to over $2 million. Okay, so we actually had a significant jump there in Seattle. We had a 21% decrease. We went from 38 down to 30 number of properties that actually closed. And we actually had a 43% increase in the number of properties that came on the market.
Sure.
We had 50 come on the market in the third quarter versus 35 in the second quarter of the year as well. Now, when you look at the number of days on market, again, just about the same. It was about 124 in the second quarter versus 115, which means they're selling faster. And the actual sale price to list price was virtually no change, sitting right at 97%.
Okay, cool. So let's jump down into the Wildwood Crest. I'm going into North Wildwood. So this is third quarter 2025 compared to second quarter 2025. So your average sale price pretty much was the same, $692,000 in the third quarter, $690,000 in the second quarter. As far as the number of properties that closed, we had a 20% decrease, 64 transactions in the third quarter of this year. And the number of properties that came onto the market, number of properties that listed, identical. Had 100 properties come on the market in the second quarter and 100 come on in the third quarter. Your days on market right around 96 days for both quarters, so not real change there. And your list price to sale price was right around 97% was your average per quarter. Going into Wildwood, Wildwood saw a 6% decrease in the third quarter. Again, it's a 6% decrease. It went from $578,000 to $546,000. So about $30,000 difference there in your average price point. 6%, but not a significant drop. The number of transactions that we had was pretty identical. We had 59 in the third quarter. We ended up with 59 in the second quarter, so pretty straightforward there. As far as the number of properties that hit the market, we had 93 hit the market in the third quarter of this year, which was a 15% increase from the second. And of course, your list price to sale price, that did jump up a little bit. Went to 129 days on market in Wildwood compared to 97 in the second quarter. List price to sale price, again, right around 98% per quarter. So that pretty much stayed the same there. Going into the Crest, there was another spot where we saw a 15% decrease when it came to the quarter. The third quarter was $705,000 was your average sale price in the third quarter compared to $832 in the second quarter, which was a 15% decrease in your price point. Number of transactions dropped about 13%. We had 45 transactions close in the third quarter. We had 61 properties come on the market, which was a 21% increase. Days on market also a little bit high, 120 days on market compared to 97 in the second quarter. And Sea Point Village, Diamond Beach, Sea Point Village had a 36% increase in their average sale price, jumped up to $1.129 from $724,000 in the second quarter. You had 11 properties sell, which was identical to the second quarter as well. And of course, the number of transactions, like I said, was 11 in each quarter. We had 17 homes come on the market in the third quarter, which was a jump, about 18%. Days on market, about the same, 94, 92 in each quarter. Finally, in Cape May, that was a 15% increase. And your average sale price jumped up to 1.325, which was about a 14% increase. Number of transactions was down about 21%. We only had 19 transactions in the third quarter. Inventory was also down. We only had 31 properties come on in Cape May in the third quarter. Your days on market was also a little high as well. It was 100 days compared to 74 in the second quarter. So something to watch there. I mean, it is the third quarter, which is, July, August, and September. Things do have a tendency to slow just a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to move up onto the primary home market, Joe, jump into Upper Township there. And we actually had a very slight decrease, virtually, like 1%, right? So it was 1% decrease. We went from 552, we went from 558. I'm sorry, it was an increase. We went from 552 up to 558. So just a minimal increase there.
Sure.
We actually had a significant decrease in the number of properties sold. We had a 31% decrease there. We went from 41 down to 28. Not uncommon in a primary home market. Not a lot happens in the summer. People like to just stay settled in. They got a whole lot of other things that they're doing, especially in these parts. They're enjoying the beach and the boardwalks.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not really worried about moving. So when you look at the number of properties that actually came on the market, we actually had again a significant decrease there, 21%. We went from 72 down to 57. Overall sale price to list price is about the same, 1% decrease there. Went from 98.5 down to 97. And then you actually look at the days on market again. Another spot was virtually the same, just sitting right around that 43 days, 50 days there in the days on market when you look at the third quarter versus the second quarter. Now jumping up into Summers Point, they only had a slight decrease in the overall sales value, Joe. It was actually about 2.5%. We went from 491 down to 478. So nothing real significant there when you really look at the overall amount. When you look at the number of properties that sold in Summers Point, we actually had a 15% decrease. We went from 46 down to 39.
Yep.
And the number of properties that came on the market, we had a 20% increase. We actually went from 73 up to 88. So we've seen some more property come on the market there over the summer in the third quarter. Now, when you take a look at the overall sales price to list price, Summers Point actually had no change, sitting at 98%. And again, like every other town I've mentioned, days on market virtually the same, only a slight little differential. We went from 35 days to 40 days. So really no significant change in properties sitting on the market or anything like that, even in the primary home market.
And I think that's something we have noticed. We talked about this in one of our other videos too. Like we've introduced the days on market back into our videos. I mean, we did it, way back. I mean, in 2019 and stuff. And we've definitely got away from that, the 2020s, 2022, 2023. I think days on market was negative. But we've kind of brought that back in just to sort of introduce it back into the videos as far as the statistic that we're watching. There really hasn't been a change. Like when we look at 2025, whether it's quarter to quarter, month to month, everything just kind of seems to be a mirror, no different than like inventory and it comes to average sale price. I mean, so if you go into, let's say, like North Cape May, so your third quarter compared to second quarter, your average sale price was up 11%. $574,000 was your average sale price in the third quarter compared to $512 in the second quarter. Number of transactions was down 17%. We only had 20 transactions then. And of course, we had 27 properties hit the market in the third quarter in North Cape May, which was down 25% from the second quarter. Your days on market was sitting right around 89 days. It was 74 days in the second quarter. So again, not a big change there. Your list price to sale price was right around 98%. Moving into Cape May Courthouse, your average sale price was up 7% to $464,000 from $431,000. Of course, the percentage of properties that sold, that was also up. We had 40 transactions in the third quarter in Courthouse, which was a 12% increase. And the number of properties that hit the market was down 26%. We only had 66 transactions. 66 listings hit the market in the third quarter. Days on market, 112, 118, respectively, and about 95% list price to sale price on there, which again was the same when you kind of look at the second quarter of it for this year too. So that kind of wraps up the southern half of the county, of course, Cape May County, from what we're covering. I mean, what are you kind of seeing there?
Well, I think what I'm seeing here, and even just a couple of towns that I spoke on, and when you look at like Ocean City, you take Seattle as well, right? The inventory levels have not moved. I can go back video over to video to video, and I'm going to right now in Ocean City is the shooting of this video. There's 283 properties, and we always say this in all of our videos. It's all properties, right? So it's commercial, it's residential, it's condos, townhouses, multifamilies, lots, commercial. It doesn't matter. It's all included if it's on the MLS, and it's still at 280 properties, and it has been. It jumps to 268, maybe to 290, and then back down. See how 50. What this video? There's 35. The highest I think I've seen there is like maybe 62, and that was 8 months ago, right? So it's that's always been bumping around between 40 to 50, mid 50s. We're at 35 right now. So inventory levels aren't going up, which is the opposite trend that we're hearing in the rest of the country, and our values are going up, which tends to be the opposite trend that we're hearing on the other value. Joe, so I know you wanted to mention and talk a little bit about that on the concern that we have with buyers and stuff like that might be kind of holding out, maybe kind of waiting, maybe kind of riding the market, listening to the news about what's going on everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
But not finding out what's happening here at the shore specifically. Why don't you talk
Absolutely.
about that?
And I think because the one thing we always have, when we're sitting, Chris, and we sit down with the seller and we're going through a market analysis, and it's like, okay, based on the average sale price, of comps that are within your area, of similar properties, of features and benefits of your property, and we look at a price, and we sit down and say, okay, this is what the market is, this is the price that we set on it. At the same token, when I look at the MLS, on average, I see more price adjustments every single day than I see new listings.
No doubt.
And people say, well, okay, price adjustments, prices are coming down, prices are coming down, prices are coming down. But yet you run a video and we do 11 towns, and 7 out of the 11 in the third quarter had a higher pricing, had a price increase compared to the second quarter. One was the same, so we had 3 that had a decrease. So it's like, well, wait a minute. I sit down at my listing presentation and they're like, well, dude, you're talking about your price, Joe. Like, I want to get, I want 850,000. You're telling me 790. Well,
and your video said they're up.
And the video said that they're up. Exactly. Well, it's because there are people that are starting it at 850. The one thing that we have also noticed too with this market, Chris, is if you are overpriced, you will sit, and you will sit, and you will sit, and you will sit.
And you won't even get offers.
It's not 2023 and 2024. Bingo. You won't even get an offer. You will sit. So the price adjustments are the properties that are hitting the market that are what we refer to as fantasy land. So, but your prices are still going up. You just, as a seller, need to stay, you should stay within that structure of, okay, well, this is the market. It increased from the second quarter. It's going to increase most likely in the fourth quarter. Let's come on the market at a good solid price based on the market, which is still more than what it was in the second quarter.
Right.
And I'm still going to get a great value on my property. It's when you start shooting, it just goes to show you the amount of properties that still hit this market that are way overpriced. Because then those properties end up doing a price adjustment. And I'll be honest with you, folks, they happen very quickly. I mean, within like 20 days, boom. And you can you pull up the MLSs and you look at it and you're seeing, all right, listed on October 1st. And by October 12th, there's a price adjustment there.
Yep.
Yeah, probably because you had 14 days, 12 days on the market and nobody even called you. Nobody came and looked at it. So it's like, okay, boom. Because that's what this market does. This market is very telling. Sellers list the property for sale. The buyers tell you immediately, you're overpriced. Or they also tell you, damn, dude, that's a good price. Boom. And you do end up with 2-3 offers, because we still have that too, folks. We still have situations where you are in multiple offer scenarios. You're in that situation because of the fact that, one, either the agent just grossly underpriced your house and that was their strategy. Let me list it low and get all these offers. Or two, you came on the market at a good solid price. Buyers recognize that, and it was just happened to be okay. You had 2 buyers that wanted that, boom, and it goes up. Or you just had one that gave you a price that you really, really wanted, and it was based on a market value. So that's, there is a little bit of jockeying there, I will say, because of the fact that, okay, you always talk in your videos, Joe and Chris, about prices that seem to be increasing. But yet when I go to list my property for sale, you're kind of keeping within the constraints of where the market is. I'm not keeping you within the constraints. We're just showing you what the market is.
Right.
This is what the market is. Based on this is where you should list your home for sale. Not fantasy land, which then we got to chase the market, and that's where the price adjustments come in.
Yep.
So just
Agreed.
Just a little tidbit on that there. So at the end of the day, dude, if you like I said, if you like what you're hearing, you like what you're saying, please give us a call, shoot us a text, reach out to Chris or myself, whether it's this week, 6 months from now, a year from now, next month. give us a call, shoot us a text. If you're looking to sell the property, as I mentioned, we can certainly sit down with you, do a very streamlined market analysis on your property, on your neighborhood, to give you a very comprehensive price analysis on the property. And of course, if you're looking to buy something, reach out to us. We'll give one of our super agents here at the Ferzoco Group, where they will streamline your search so that you make sure you're getting the properties when they're hitting market that are definitely within your criteria on that. Next month, 6 months, a year, we're here to help you out. He's Chris, I'm Joe. Till next time, we'll see you at the beach.